Hey everyone, it's a new year and it's time for another one of my annual collection videos. And in this video, I'm going to be showing off my entire Xbox game collection. I will be showing off the games I own physically, as you can see, which I have right here, as well as the games I have through Games with Gold and Xbox Game Pass as well. So let's get started. So starting from the very left here, I got some original Xbox games which came with my Xbox One when I bought it back in March of 2018. Unfortunately, this game, 007 Everything for Nothing, is not backwards compatible with the Xbox One at the moment. The Xbox One's backwards compatibility feature was definitely the selling point for me personally, because the way it works is that the games would actually perform better than original hardware. So Crimson Skies, High Road to Revenge. This is one of the games that's backwards compatible. I think I got this for like $5 or something. Yeah, or $7. Can't really remember. But this game is compatible with the Xbox One. Now, the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind, Game of the Year edition. This game, not only is it backwards compatible, but if you have the Xbox One X, the game runs in a full 4K, and unless I'm mistaken, I think it runs at 60 frames. I don't know for sure, but regardless of such, if you have an Xbox One, you are getting improved performance, regardless of which console it is, which model it is. Sorry. So there's that. I still have yet to actually, really get into it. I think the game's just a bit too old for me, in my opinion. Of course, finally, you have Jade Empire here. I haven't really tried out any of the original Xbox games, largely because I'm more focused with the Xbox 360 games, which I'll be getting to here. Okay, so starting from the bottom, I'll work my way up. I have the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Game of the Year edition. Yeah. I think this was also on Game Pass. Not too sure. I gotta check. But it was. I think I got this after trading in Sonic Forces. I originally played Sonic Forces for a couple days, finished it, and then got this game as well as the next game, the orange box. Whoops. The orange box set, which comes with Half-Life 2, Episode 2, Team Fortress 2, and Portal. Also includes Half-Life 2 and Episode 1. Yeah, so it's actually 5 games. So Half-Life 2 and Half-Life Episode 1, Half-Life 2 Episode 2, Team Fortress 2, and Portal, I think. The wording here is really confusing. So, yeah, I've actually yet to try this out. I should really get. I know. I've heard really good things about this, but I have a lot of other games to deal with right now. I think it's actually at over 100 right now, 130 or so. We'll get to that. So here we have Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Vegas, which I got dirt cheap, as well as its sequel, Rainbow Six Vegas 2. Oh yes, Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter. This game actually does have improved frame rate. I think on Xbox One X it's closer to 60 frames. Not too sure about that. I should also mention that this game is very different to that of the PC and PlayStation 2 versions of the game. They actually went. Yeah, this was released during a time when they made two completely different versions of the same games for multiple levels of hardware. This was a transition between the 6th generation to 7th generation. So if you played the PS2 version and got this one, you're in for a different experience. Next up, Call of Duty Black Ops 2. This is definitely one of the more popular Call of Duty games, for sure. Crackdown. Crackdown 3 is coming out in a couple. I think it's coming out very, very soon. I hope it doesn't get delayed, and I hope it's good. Again, I have yet to actually try this game. And The Darkness. This game was just recently made backwards compatible, which is great. Hopefully I'll get to try it soon. Yes, Rage. I heard this game didn't do so well when it was first released back in 2011. I actually got the game originally for PS3, I think 2014, at Target Canada. I should mention that the Xbox 360 version comes on 3 discs, although, from what I've heard, as far as I'm concerned, the game is now available on Xbox Game Pass, so you don't need to own. So if you have that, you don't need to buy it. And I heard the sequel's coming out soon. I'm surprised they even bothered making a sequel. Next up, Call of Duty 2. This was the first Call of Duty game released on the Xbox 360. And I think this is also the first one that ran at 60 frames. Not too sure about that, but yeah, I originally played this on the PC several years ago. And this was when the Call of Duty franchise was still very young, very relatively new. I mean, I think it was 2 years by this point since the first game's release, and we have come a long way. I mean, you play this game and then go to Black Ops 2, and you're going to be blown away by how different it is. Now, granted, this game was more of a 6th generation game than a 7th generation game, so that's probably one reason. But still, we've come a long way. Quake 4, have yet to try this, though it also comes with Quake 4, the making of, and Quake 2 as well. So you're getting 2 games in one. I'm not sure if it's backwards compatible or not. I don't think it is. Hopefully it will be backwards compatible soon. We'll see. Max Payne 3, I don't think this is... I don't know if this is backwards compatible either. We'll see when we go on my Xbox. But it comes on 2 discs, as a lot of games during the era, especially the big games, did, because the Xbox 360 used the standard DVD disc, I believe, which only could contain about, I think, 8 gigabytes, while the PS3 used Blu-rays, which can contain up to 25 gigabytes. So here we have Ninja Gaiden 3. Now, unfortunately, the disc itself, I did not check when I initially bought it, and it was only until afterwards that I found out that the disc, it doesn't even work. So yeah, I kind of got screwed there. Not by much though. I paid less than $2 for this. So oh well. Next up, Tomb Raider Underworld. This was part of Crystal Dynamics' first reboot of the franchise. Yeah, this was released on multiple platforms as well, including the PS2 and Wii, though those versions were not very good from what I've heard, for a lot of reasons. But yeah, as far as I'm concerned, just about every one of the Tomb Raider games, I think starting with Anniversary, Underworld, and I forgot the other one, but the other one was Anniversary, Underworld, and Legends are now backwards compatible, so you can play them. So if you want to go back to the days of old, want to play the older Tomb Raider games, you can now. I have Saint Rose. Next up, Saint Rose 2. I don't have the original case for it, unfortunately. So they just put it in a PS4 case, game case, and gave me the Platinum Hits disc. I actually had Saint Rose 1 and 3 as well, but I couldn't get into the first game. Maybe I'll try this game. Who knows? Next up, Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon. Now, I should mention that the only way that you can actually get a physical copy of Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon is through the Far Cry compilation pack, which comes with Far Cry 2, 3, and this game. I got this used at a game store. It was like for $5, and I got it knowing that this was probably the only way I could get it physically. I should mention that for the PlayStation 3 version, it's on all in one disc. The Far Cry compilation, that is, it's all on one disc. I even did a video on that. You just have to install it onto your PS3 hard drive. So yeah, there's that. I actually have this on PC as well, but unfortunately, performance issues. And I definitely recommend playing this on an Xbox One, because, especially if you don't have a high-end PC, because, boy, the frame rate drops is, from what I could see from Digital Foundry's videos, was really awful. It's like we're talking like mid-teens here in terms of frame rate. Next up, Call of Duty World at War. This was the last Call of Duty game to take place during World War II, until Call of Duty World War II in 2017, I believe. And this was also the first game that introduced zombies. So yeah, and also the only game that actually took place on the Eastern Front. And by the Pacific, dealt with the battles in the Pacific. So I'm talking like, Americans versus Japanese. This is the only game, as far as I know, that actually dealt with it. Only Call of Duty game that actually dealt with those battles, which is a shame, because I would definitely like to see a bit more representation instead of the same old battles from in Europe. Next up, Call of Duty Black Ops. I found this for $5 at a thrift store, and yeah, I don't know what this is all about. Calgary, interesting. Yeah, this is the beginning of the Black Ops series, and well, here we are in 2019 with Black Ops 4, and I'll be honest, I'm not exactly too pleased with how the sub-series has gone. The campaign is no longer here. We have the whole Battle Royale mode, which I really wish they made free to play, much like Fortnite, but oh well. Hey, it's backwards compatible, so if you want to experience the good old days of Black Ops, you can. Next up, Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. This particular copy of the game comes with the bonus soundtrack on a separate disc. So if you see this little see this thing right here that indicates the soundtrack, you will be able to get this thing, which I do recommend. I mean, it's not every day that you get a copy of a game that comes with the soundtrack on a separate CD. Now, this game, from what I've heard, also benefits from being played on an Xbox One. So there's that. Next up, Crysis 3. I got this for a measly $2, which I thought was a great deal. And I think the DLC code actually still worked. I don't actually have the game in some of these cases. I keep them in this thing right over here, so I don't have to pull these things out constantly. Yeah, I would get into the Crysis games. It's just, well, Crysis 1 is digital only. And I'll be honest, not fond of digital purchases. I'd rather have a physical copy. So, maybe if I get a copy of Crysis 2, I'll try it out. Heard the story isn't all too interconnected, but who knows? It's also I should mention that this was at the time of Crysis's at the time of Crysis release, I think back in 2007, it was a pretty big deal back then because that's where the whole "can it run Crysis" term came in, particularly for PCs, since this was a technically demanding game. Franchise, that is. Next up, Assassin's Creed 3. Boy, I at one point owned, I think, 4 different copies of this game. I think I had it on PlayStation 3, I had it on PC, I had the Assassin's Creed America's Collection, which was also on PS3, and I had this. So 4 different copies of the same game. I've since gotten rid of those copies on PS3, so I have this as well as the PC version. I'm still probably going to play it on the Xbox One anyways because, one, in better performance, but also my PC isn't exactly the greatest. And I'm not willing to spend hundreds upon hundreds of dollars just to build one myself. But yeah, this is also the last game to be developed exclusively for last generation platforms, unless you want to include the Wii U as an 8th gen platform. Next up, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. I should mention I got these Assassin's Creed games for pretty cheap, like $2 a piece, I think. Assassin's Creed Revelation, supposed to come with some Best Buy stuff, don't know. I think it came empty. Yeah, it came empty. So I didn't get the Best Buy content. But I will say, although I do own a good chunk of the Assassin's Creed games, I have barely touched any of the games. And, it's one of those franchises where I just can't, it takes a while for me to get into them. I mean, when you have so many games in one franchise, it can be a bit overwhelming. I know you don't have to play them in a certain order, but I do because I want to see the improvements that each sequel bring to the table. Instead of going from the most recent game and then going back to a very old game. Speaking of, next up, Grand Theft Auto 4, released back in 2008. It's been over 10 years now. I heard the PC version actually got an update patch that removes a good selection of songs because of some licenses for the songs have expired, so they had to patch them out of the PC version. Don't know if they had to do the same thing with the Xbox 360 or PS3 version. Just wanted to get that out there. Again, have yet to really try this game at all. I tried Grand Theft Auto 3 on the PS2. Couldn't get into it. It's too old for me. Next up, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, the last of the Modern Warfare trilogy. It's 2019 and we've yet to hear about the new Call of Duty game. And if it's Modern Warfare 4, that's cool, but I do have my concerns because Modern Warfare 3 wrapped up the storyline fairly well. So if they do Modern Warfare 4, they're either going to take out the campaign or they're going to probably going to do a prequel. Maybe I would definitely like to see one with Captain Price in his younger days. That'd be cool. And of course, Modern Warfare 2. This is I think where the series kind of became more like an action film, sort of. This was considered at the time one of the best shooters ever made, and I can see why. It really is a well done game. The Modern Warfare trilogy in general is very well done. Who knows? Maybe we'll get a remaster this year. Maybe. Assassin's Creed 2, which I also have on PS3. It was actually the first game I got for the system back in 2014, and I haven't actually finished the thing. I mean, it's been 5 years, and I've barely got a couple hours into it. Pity. Next up, Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell Double Agent. Yeah, I barely tried this at all. Shame. Prince of Persia, the predecessor to the Assassin's Creed franchise. Definitely could use a revival of sorts. And finally, for the Xbox 360 games, physically anyways, Grand Theft Auto Episodes from Liberty City. This was a standalone add-on for Grand Theft Auto 4. And I believe they also released this as part of the Complete Edition. The Complete Edition on PS3 is on one disc. Not sure about the Xbox 360 version, though. So there's that. Now, let's move on to my Xbox One games. And there's not as many. If only because the Xbox One games are generally a bit more expensive. So let's start here with Halo 5 Guardians. This was one of the games that originally came with my Xbox. I heard this was actually the first game that got rid of the couch co-op. You know, every Halo game before this allowed you to play with a friend, locally through split screen, split screen co-op. But unfortunately, this game removed that feature. A shame, but a sign of the times. Unfortunately, I'm still playing through the first Halo game as we speak, through the Master Chief Collection, that is. So it's going to be a while before I get to this. Hopefully I'll get to this before Halo Infinite's release, whenever that's going to be. Next up, Rare Replay. 30 hit games, all on one disc. This, if you couldn't tell by the title, this game contains just about every game developed by Rare, except the ones they developed for Nintendo console, except the Nintendo first-party games, which, for obvious reasons, can't be included. So yeah, we're looking at Banjo-Kazooie, Perfect Dark. Unfortunately, does not have GoldenEye. You know, there's a whole... Yeah, that game has some serious issues when it comes to licensing, and the chances of that ever getting re-released is very, very low. Still, it's a nice compilation to have. I mean, I think it's like $20 now. So 30 games and these are like really great. Some of these are really great games on their own. It definitely one to have in your Xbox One collection. Next up, Titanfall. Yes, Titanfall. This was the game that was developed by the former Call of Duty developers who were fired from Infinity Ward back in 2010. You can look it up. I'm not going to go into it, but all you need to know is they eventually formed a new studio called Respawn Entertainment and made this game, which released the same year as Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. So there was a lot of comparison between the two. I'll be honest, yeah, this game is very bare bones. Do not pay any more than $5 for this, because it just feels so bare bones. Next up, Metro Redux. Remastering of Metro 2033 and Metro Last Light with all the DLC. I've yet to actually try it, but I know Metro Exodus is coming out soon, so definitely got to try it eventually. Next up, the Call of Duty Infinite Warfare Legacy Pro Edition. Oh boy. This game received a lot of hate when it was first announced. I mean, you know, it was the third futuristic game in the series in a row after Advanced Warfare and Black Ops 3. And not to mention the fact that you had to buy the Legacy or Legacy Pro Edition just to get Modern Warfare Remastered, which I might add, you have to download. And it's a massive download, by the way. I think it's like 75 gigabytes in total. Fortunately, unlike the PlayStation 4, where it's on a download code, Modern Warfare Remastered, in a way, is sort of on the disc. The disc sort of acts like a verification code of sorts. So the moment that you plug it, put in your disc, you will be able to download Modern Warfare Remastered. So there's that. So if you buy a new copy of this, you will get Modern Warfare Remastered. Now the edition I got this for about $50 plus tax, and it comes with Infinite Warfare, Modern Warfare Remastered, but also comes with 5 supply drops, the terminal bonus map, the official soundtrack, and the season pass, which I might add is about 70 Canadian dollars still. So you're basically getting the season pass for free just by getting this. Yeah, they really dropped the ball on this, but they really dropped the ball on this by forcing you to buy Infinite Warfare to get Modern Warfare Remastered. Pity, really, because it's actually a really good remaster. Moving on, Batman Arkham Knight, the final game in the Batman Arkham trilogy. Well, technically it's 4 games, or 5 games, if you want to include Arkham Origin and Arkham Origin Blackgate, but this was the 3rd game developed by Rocksteady, and the final game in the series, story-wise. Yeah, I don't really have much to say about this. I mean, since I haven't really gotten too deep into it, I will say, however, that if you're gonna get into the Batman Arkham games, I don't necessarily recommend the remaster of I don't necessarily recommend the remaster of Arkham Asylum and Arkham City that is available through the Return to Arkham pack, because they did some questionable things in that. Definitely, this is one of the rare cases where I actually think the original version may actually be better in some regards. But yeah, if you're gonna get into the Arkham series, don't start with this one. Like, from a story perspective, don't. Still, from what I played, it's still pretty good. Next up, Call of Duty Black Ops 3 Zombie Chronicles Edition. This comes with the base game as well as the download code for the Zombies pack. So I believe you're getting all the Zombies DLC with all this, I think. Got this for about $40, and unfortunately, when I started playing this, I ran into a glitch with the campaign, and it kind of put me off, really. I've also had trouble getting into lobbies as well, so it really ruined it for me. I also have the game on PS3, and trust me, guys, do not get this game on last gen. If you're gonna buy Black Ops 3, get it on the Xbox One or PS4. PS3 and Xbox 360 version are not very good. They took out the campaign mode and also a lot of other features. Next up, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. This was the first game that really brought the series into the future. But, well, technically Black Ops 2 did that, but this was where they added exosuits and all that stuff. And here we have Kevin Spacey. I'm not going to go into that, but yeah, he was in this game. So we have campaign, multiplayer, and co-op exo survival. There's also the exo zombies mode, which unfortunately is DLC, which just sucks. Really, I mean, the whole game mode is locked behind DLC. That is not. That's kind of bad business practice, in my opinion. Come on, at least give us one map pack to play on. All right. Next up, Titanfall 2. I actually got this from a Dollarama. Yeah, this game didn't, unfortunately, because of the timing of its release, it didn't sell all that well, and I saw a whole bunch of copies over at Dollarama for $4, and I got it. I haven't played it yet, but I'm looking forward to playing it, since I heard the campaign mode is really good. And last but not least, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Complete Edition. Includes the base game as well as all the DLC, all on the disc, thankfully. I've heard very good things about this. I heard the original author of the books is actually suing them right now or something like that, because he decided to take a lump sum payment instead of royalties. Really should have gone for the royalties, mate, but aside from that, I've heard it's a very well done game. Yeah. I'll get to it when I get to it. Someday. Alright, so that's basically it for my entire physical collection. Now we're going to move on to my digital collection on my Xbox One. Alright, so here we are at my Xbox One. And first let's start off with the games with gold. And I have here Battlefield 1. First, I think this is one of the very few games that actually take place during World War One. Kind of wish the title was better. I mean, I get it. World War One, Battlefield 1, still doesn't excuse the poor naming convention. Assassin's Creed Syndicate, Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. I actually played this game previously on the PS3. Which is incredible that they even got the game running on that. Really is. And here I am with my second playthrough. Never before have I ever felt that a game wasn't good or bad in terms of story, just incomplete. Next up, For Honor, that Ubisoft game, which I heard didn't do so well. Livelock, Assassin's Creed Chronicles Russia, Victor Vran, The Witness, Super Mega Baseball 2, Super Hot, Never Alone, Cube 2, Assault Android Cactus, Celeste, which I also own on Switch, Overcooked, Death Squared, Prison Architect, Xbox One Edition, and Race the Sun. Alright, now let's actually go with my Game Pass titles that I have. I have 28 installed. So we have Braid, Darksiders War Mastered Edition, Dead Island Definitive Edition, Doom, which I'm actually playing through, Fallout 3, Forza Horizon 4, Gears of War 1, 2, 3, and Judgment, as well as... interesting. So, I have the Xbox 360 version of Gears of War and the Xbox One remaster. Interesting. So, Guacamelee Super Turbo Championship Edition, Halo 5, which I also own physically, Halo, the Master Chief Collection, Star Wars, Lego Star Wars The Complete Saga, Lego Indiana Jones The Original Adventure, Mega Man Legacy Collection, Mega Man Legacy Collection 2, The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, which I also own physically, PUBG, Rage, which I also own, Rocket League, Sonic & Knuckles, Sonic CD, which I own on multiple platforms, including PS3, my Android phone, which I'm recording this video off of, and PC. Sunset Overdrive, Terraria, Tom Clancy's The Division, and finally, Wolfenstein The New Order. So all in all, I have a total of 136 games on my Xbox One that I've accumulated in the last 10 months. Oh boy. This... Alright, well, that's basically it for my entire collection, guys. If you guys actually stuck around for all 30 minutes, thank you guys so much. It really means a lot to me. As always, guys, like, comment, and subscribe for more content, and I'll see you next time. Bye.